What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I have a really good story for you guys tonight. But before we get into the story, if you will, please hit that subscribe button down below. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel. So let's go ahead and get into this story. The story actually takes place in Harrisburg, Kentucky. So there is a hotel there called the Harrisburg Springs Hotel. It's a divine hotel, and our story actually starts in the 1840s. People flocked from around the United States to Harrisburg to specifically come there for the hotel, and not just the hotel, but they had springs there. And back in the day, you know, people thought that springs had like healing powers. I don't know what's going on with this bang. They thought that springs had like these amazing healing powers, so people would come from all around the world for the springs, but not only for the springs, but also because the hotel had this magnificent ballroom there. And it was so grand and so beautiful that people were just in awe that saw it. Like they could not, it took their breath away, you know? It was just that beautiful. And so our story actually takes place on a night in spring. The hotel staff is actually getting ready for the ball. The guests are kind of relaxing before the ball begins, and a lot of them are peeking in the ballroom, you know, and just soaking up the grandeur of the ballroom. And then other guests were like out on the porch in these rocking chairs, you know, gossiping and just taking in the views and just loving their surroundings. While they were actually out on the porch, a carriage pulled up, and they said that a beautiful young lady stepped out of the carriage. They don't really describe her facial features, but they said that people were just in awe by her beauty, and that they do actually talk about her hair, and it was kind of up in a bun, and it had ringlets that were framing out her face. And they said that she only arrived with one piece of luggage. So she comes into the hotel. People are like staring. They're like, I'm gonna guess it would be like if Beyonce pulled up to a hotel nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's just watching her just kind of walk into the hotel. She actually registered as Miss Mary Virginia Stafford of Louisville, Kentucky. When they went to go check in her luggage, she said, "This is the only piece I have. My parents are on their way, and they're bringing actually the rest of the luggage." And after they checked her in, she said, "I'm going to go up to my hotel room, and I'm going to relax and get before I have to start getting ready for the ball." Because back in those days, you know, it was like a whole huge thing to get ready for these balls. It was like 20 layers of undergarments, and then your dress, and you know, and then you had to finish your makeup and all that. So it was like a huge ordeal. I'm gonna guess it would be like celebrities now, like getting ready for like the Emmys or something, you know. So she's actually walking to her room, and these guys are like, oh my god, save a dance for me, you know, you're so beautiful. And she was like, I'll dance with every one of you tonight. Back in those days, the hotels would have like dinner before the balls actually began, and she didn't come down for dinner. People were kind of in awe of like, where is this beautiful young lady at? Like, why is she not here for dinner? You know, like, what is going on? And so people were gossiping. You know how people do. It ain't changed. And then as they're gossiping, here she comes into the room, and they say that she kind of just floated on in to the room. Everyone at the ball watched her. They were just in awe. You know, they could not take their eyes off of her. And she was, of course, the topic of conversation, like she had been all day long since she arrived at the hotel. And it is said that a lot of the women were actually envious of her because of her beauty and because of her poise. It's actually said that one of the guests said, "I don't know whose daughter that she is, but I wish she was my daughter." Now, that can be taken a little creepy way, or that can be taken as a very huge compliment. That's just how beautiful she was. She spent a good time like dancing and, you know, just letting her aura just filled the room. Well, then at intermission, she decided that she was going to actually leave the ballroom, and she was going to kind of just take a walk around the hotel. And It said that a group of guys actually accompanied her as she and her group of men walked through the garden and looked at the trees. They said that they stopped under the full moon and there was a mockingbird singing. And one of the guys went to go say something to her and she said, "Shh, listen to the beauty of the mockingbird sing." And then they kind of talked a little bit more, and then all of a sudden she said, "Come on, we gotta go back inside." And they went back inside, and she danced for hours and hours and hours. It's actually said that she danced with everybody that asked her to dance. And I'm thinking, like, that's got to be a lot of people. You know, that's a lot of people. Can you imagine, like, checking into a Hilton and there's a ballroom and they're having a dance and you dance with everybody at the hotel? But it is said that she danced with all the young gentlemen callers. Finally, at some point in time, the ball, you know, has to come to an end. So the hotel manager comes to the front of the band and says, "Thank you, patrons, for coming out tonight. We have enjoyed the ball. We hope you have too, but this is our final dance." And you could see, like, the upset on her face, they said. But as this song ended, she suddenly collapsed onto the ground. Now, her parents never showed up, and the name that she actually used to check into the hotel was not her real name. It was like a false identity. So nobody knew who this young lady was. The hotel decided to go through her luggage to see if it gave any clues to who this young lady was. And when they actually opened the trunk, the one piece of luggage that she arrived at the hotel with, it was completely empty. There was no trace of her identity in the luggage. She was so beautiful and just had so many people in awe that the actual patrons of the hotel, the guests, decided to help plan her funeral. Nobody ever showed up to claim her, which is really, really sad. So she was actually buried in a grave with no name, and her grave actually still stands today, and it's surrounded by a little picket fence. And that is the story of the mysterious girl. Now, we don't know what her name is, only she knew her name, but I think it's so beautiful that they honor her and they buried her and then put this beautiful picket fence around her. And you can actually still go to her grave today. We may never know who this mysterious young lady is, you know, but maybe we're just not supposed to know, you know? She's just one of those mysteries. And what is so weird is after she was buried, people started seeing her ghost on the property of the hotel, and they've actually even seen her in the ballroom dancing. And I just thought that was so beautiful. She was obviously just in so much of in awe of this hotel that I just think it's beautiful that that's how she's spending her eternity, is walking around this beautiful hotel and dancing, because that's what she obviously loved to do so much. But that's the story. It's not one of these scary stories like I usually tell on my channel. It was actually of beauty and how people came together because this person just captured people's hearts, and they bonded together and buried this young lady. They didn't have to do that. They fell in love with her, and that love they passed on. I just thought that was a cute story, and it just warmed my heart. And it wasn't super scary, but it was still good. Thank you guys for tuning in my channel. I really hoped you liked this ghost story. I hope it touched your heartstrings a little bit. You know, you never know who you're going to encounter and how they're going to change your life. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Be safe, enjoy the spooky season, and if you guys haven't seen the first episode of season 2 from the Other Side, please check it out. We got some really good evidence on camera. I think you guys will really love it, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye guys. Stay spooky.